Today, we're diving into a system of incredible contrasts. I mean, on one hand, you've got this vision of futuristic, world-class healthcare. But on the other, there's a reality that's so tough, so challenging, that many people feel they have no choice but to leave the country for care. So let's get into it, the two faces of Nigeria's healthcare system.
All right, let's just start with one number, a massive number, $1.9 billion. A study from 2022 found that's how much Nigerians spend every single year on medical tourism, meaning they're leaving the country to get treatment elsewhere. That is a staggering amount of money just flowing right out of the local economy.
And that just begs the question, right? If there's that much demand, that much money being spent to get healthcare outside of Nigeria, what's the real story of the system inside its borders?
To really wrap our heads around what's going on, we first have to grasp the sheer scale of it all.
I mean, the scale here is just immense. We're talking about a nation of 213 million people. It's Africa's largest economy, with a GDP soaring over $430 billion. And, at least on paper, you've got a healthcare infrastructure with almost 40,000 hospitals and clinics. The potential is absolutely enormous.
But here is the number that changes everything. A staggering 75% of all healthcare costs in Nigeria are paid directly out of pocket. That's not insurance, it's not the government, it's everyday people, individuals and families footing the bill themselves. And that one fact, it's the key to understanding this entire story.
And this just highlights how incredibly high the stakes are. According to McKinsey, for every single dollar invested in health in a developing economy, you could see a return of $2 to $4. I mean, the potential for growth for the people and for the economy is just off the charts, but that's only if the system actually works the way it's supposed to.
So, okay, let's look at that first face of Nigerian healthcare. This is the side of the story that makes you think a world-class future isn't just possible, it's already here.
Because, in certain corners of the country, the standard of care is genuinely state-of-the-art. You have companies like JNC International equipping hospitals with some of the most advanced medical technology on the entire planet. This is the dream.
And listen, we're not talking about just, basic upgrades here. This is the high-end stuff. We're talking about things like the Electa Versa HD, one of the most advanced cancer treatment machines in the world. The Canon 640 Slice CT scanner for images so detailed it's unbelievable. And fully integrated digital operating theaters. This tech is real, and it's in Nigeria right now. And it's not just us saying it. Leaders on the ground feel it too. Awele Alumulu, who's the CEO of MMSC Hospital, said it perfectly. "I'm in awe." And that's the bright, promising face of the system. It's a picture of real investment and real pride. But it is not the whole picture.
Okay, now we need to talk about the other side of this coin. Because hiding just beneath that shiny surface, a 2020 investigation by the Premium Times newspaper uncovered something that's, well, it's deeply corrosive.
The Association of Medical Laboratory Scientists, wow, they did not mince words. They told investigators that a widespread practice was nothing short of racketeering and that it is literally destroying the system. So what on earth were they talking about? They were talking about something called fee splitting. Now, the idea is pretty simple, but it is incredibly damaging. Basically, a diagnostic lab will secretly pay a kickback to a doctor for one reason and one reason only, for sending them a patient. It's a practice that's considered unethical almost everywhere, and in a lot of places it's flat out illegal.
So here's how it works. Step 1, your doctor refers you for a test. Simple enough. Step 2, you go to the lab and you pay for it, often at an inflated price. Then comes step 3, the part you never see. The lab secretly kicks back a percentage of that fee, we're talking 20 to 40%, directly to the doctor who sent you. And you, the patient, have absolutely no idea it's happening.
But maybe the most jaw-dropping detail from the whole investigation was just how normal this seems to be. When he was questioned about it, the president of the Nigerian Medical Association at the time apparently defended the practice. He compared it to getting a commission for selling a carton of beer. Think about that. It suggests this isn't seen as a deep ethical problem, but just business as usual. So who's left holding the bag for this whole scheme? Well, the answer takes us right back to where we started.
Hey, remember that 75% out-of-pocket spending? This is exactly where it hits home. When the prices for tests get jacked up to cover these kickbacks,
It's not some big insurance company that absorbs the cost. Nope. It's the patient, the regular person, paying for it directly out of their own pocket. And the fallout from this is just severe. For patients, it means inflated bills. It sometimes means being sent for tests you don't even need just to generate more fees. The investigation also found that some labs might even cut corners to afford these payouts, which raises the risk of a misdiagnosis. But the damage goes way deeper. It just destroys the most important thing in healthcare, trust, while dragging down the quality of care and shattering ethical standards.
So why does this keep happening? Well, according to the investigation, the simple answer is a lack of regulation. The professional groups that are supposed to be policing this kind of behavior are often way too slow to act, and that's allowed this practice to become deeply, deeply entrenched in the system.
So, how can Nigeria possibly connect these two totally different realities, one of incredible cutting-edge tech and the other of deep systemic mistrust? Well, the good news is there is a path forward. A key report has identified some really clear opportunities. First, revitalize the nation's primary healthcare centers. I mean, get this, they make up 85% of all facilities. Second, digitize the health insurance system to make it way more accessible and transparent for everybody. And finally, invest in local training so that all that amazing high-tech equipment can actually be maintained and used for years to come. So in the end, this is what it all boils down to. This is the fundamental split. On one side, you have all the tools, the technology, and the talent you need for a truly world-class system. And on the other, you have a crisis of trust, fueled by these practices that put profit ahead of patients. And that brings us to the final and most critical question. With all of that potential on one side and these deep, deep-seated problems on the other, can Nigeria actually bridge this divide? Can it root out these hidden schemes and finally build one single high standard of healthcare for all 213 million of its people? The answer to that question, well, it won't just define the future of the healthcare system, it's going to define the future of the nation itself.